What up, everybody, and welcome to Creeps of the Crypt, episode 9. I'm your comedic, fun-loving host, your jovial host, John, along with my co-host, other Alan.
What up, guys? What up?
Yeah, so we're here to talk about another episode of Tales from the Crypt. This time, we're talking about Season 2, Episode 3, Cutting Cards. But before we get into that, let me say hello to Alan, because we haven't really talked in like a while, right? It's been like a week. Like we send memes and shit, but
Been ignoring me like a girl I met on the first date.
no, I've just been editing videos. Just been working on videos. So much so that I edited the last podcast and I uploaded it and it's ready for distribution in the future. And I forgot to send him the link to listen to it. And it was like a week later. He was like, "So how did that podcast come out?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry."
Yeah, because I know we just got off of doing the last one, the what was it, the Switch, the Arnold directed episode, Tales from the Crypt. So I know there was some conversations behind the scenes regarding how that went. So I just wanted to make sure, I wanted to make sure if the audio was good and everything before we put it out, or if we wanted to do another re-record like we did a while ago.
I listened to
it. Seems like we're good.
I listened to it and I edited it, and I was like, I had to edit, took 2 pass-throughs because I fell asleep at one point. I woke up and I was like, what? But that's because I don't get good sleep in my apartment. So anyway, here we are to talk. So yeah, how you been besides that?
Been all right, man. Just been surviving. I mean, it was summer right here, so I live out here in Vegas, so it's the weather's kind of unbearable for those few months of summer. You know, at 100+ degrees almost every day. So just gotta wear your light clothes and just staying hydrated out there. But you said yours is like not too bad. It's like in the 80s right now, right?
Yeah, I mean, actually, yeah, today's in the 80s because it's been humid though, so. It's not that bad. Actually, I think it was 90 today, not 80. But like, if it's okay because but then again, I don't know. It's hard to explain. Like, it looks like it's gonna rain. It did rain earlier, and then it just looks like it's gonna rain all day. But then the humidity, and then like it just feels like an off day.
Oh yeah, it happens sometimes. I get one of those here and there. Some off days.
Mm-hmm.
Just been working on my OBS and trying to set some stuff up there. So when I decide to end up streaming a little bit more often, now that I have a modern computer, because I was running off of old ass laptop for a while, and my work laptop in between. So decided to get me a little mini PC that I think I told you about. It runs pretty well. Been able to play a lot more of the modern games like Witcher 3 or the Mass Effect series I've been replaying. Just to pass some time with some RPGs.
Yeah, so besides that, I mean, there's not really much to talk about, although just like recently, right before I got on here, I was on my phone outside in the park, and I heard, "Oh, what are you doing on Facebook scrolling up?" And I'm like, "What?" I turned around, I look, and it's this black traffic cop, this girl, walking by, and she's looking at me, and I was like, "Oh my God, are you checking me out?" Because I haven't been checked out in a long time. I was like, "Oh, I should say something," and I'm like, no, she's with her friend, and I was like, shit. It always happens, you know. You think after, well, for me, it always happens. Like you lose your opportunity. Like I'm like, wait, she was flirting, like she deliberately went out of her way to get my attention, right? And then I turned around and I just giggled or whatever. I'm like, fuck. After she walked away, I was like, what an asshole. I always had that.
Just laid it up on you.
I know. I could see her. I'll see her again, I think. Oh, I'll see her.
Next time you make the move, you do. I don't know. You bring up something random.
My
shoes.
Yeah, right. But I know one thing. So I'm gonna start going to the gym. On top of that, I know I've been saying that for like months, but literally now, for some reason, I don't know.
We all say that.
Yeah, but now for some reason I got today I'm like, if I had money, I would go join the gym today. But I'm broke as shit, so I don't have the money to go to the gym. But I'm gonna next week I'm gonna go because I just want to change my life. I'm tired of being this. I'm tired
But
of the way it's going.
it's always rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rough. So it doesn't hurt to throw that in there at
Well,
least, just to kind of mix it up, and
I want to.
you'll feel good afterwards too.
I don't want to say anything out of pocket for people out there. I'm not trying to get political or anything, but after some jab that I took the first jab because I had to for my job. If I didn't, they said they would fire me. So I did it under protest, and then I was looking online. There's a lawyer who he was giving letters telling your employers that you don't want to take the jab or whatever. So I was looking to contact him, but the funny thing is that the day I got the jab is the same day I got it. I caught it. So I got sick, and then everyone in my family got sick because we all got it that day because my uncle had it. He brought it to the house the same day I got the first shot. So, but after that, I have not been able to lose weight. I've been gaining weight, and I don't eat like a crazy fat fuck. Like I don't eat like I'm the biggest I've ever been in my life, and I don't eat crazy. I don't. I do. I think I am eating wrong things, and my metabolism is probably extremely slow now because I'm older. But this is abnormal, and I didn't look into it. I should look into it. Other people have this problem, but this is a problem I'm having, and I'm like, I honestly don't. I don't. I do eat bread, a lot of bread. I will say that's one negative. Well, we're gonna see what's gonna happen.
That can get you for sure. The bread, mostly the carbs will get you there.
Yeah.
But you got to do some stuff to detox you too. That's gonna help you out.
Yeah.
Kind of reset everything.
That's what we're gonna do.
Cold water.
That's what I'm gonna do next week. I will say next week because I'll have money, but we'll say starting tomorrow really is the food-wise. I'm gonna change up everything. So starting tomorrow, I'm not having any bread. I'm gonna eat. Everything I'm going to eat is going to be like, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to follow, I had a nutritionist who was supposed to meet with her, but I backed out in a sense. I don't know why I backed out. I have no idea why. It was a phone call. That's all it was. But anyway.
I think, like just lean meats and veggies can get you a long way, at least to start with, to get your system, cleansed out and everything. Funny you mentioned that. I'm going through that as well. I'm doing that more so just kind of lean meats, like a lot of chicken and a lot of veggies, just kind of like whatever amount you can fit in and still feel good for the day. And just cut out kind of carbs mostly for the most part. It was hard the first week, but I'm already down 5 pounds, so I'm still working on getting a couple lbs down here too. So yeah, you gotta find something that works for you. I think there's definitely ways to go about it without suffering. You just have to cut out some of those habits you got that might be holding you back.
You know what else?
Bread is one of them for sure.
You want to know why I think that girl was hollering at me, even though I'm a fat ass? I think she was because I put. The other day I was making a video, and I turned around, right, in my chair to grab something, and I saw the back of my head. Now, prior to this incident, the only time I looked at the back of my head was maybe at the supermarket. But when I looked at the video and I paused it, I said, what? I am balding in the back of my head. And I was like, oh my God. I think that's why the video I said, right? But because it's in the lighting here is more bright, right? You see, it looks worse because I went to the today. I went to the bathroom and I have two mirrors, one in the front, one in the back. And I go, it's not that bad. It's not that, like, it's thinning. It's thinning. It's not bad. Like, you could tell, oh, he's thinning. He's an older guy, right? But not the way it looked on camera. It looked like I needed to, like, put a yarmulke on the back of my head to hide it, right? It was so horrible. So I was like, oh, no. So I got this thing called Topic. Or it's not Topic. It's like Topic, right? It's like a powder you pour on your head. It's supposed to blend in. So I put that on my head, on the front though, not the back, because I can't see the back. So I put it on the front, and I'm like, oh. So I don't know if that made me look so fly to this girl. She's like, oh, hey, there you go, mister, with your jet black hair out of nowhere.
It's really does help a guy's confidence if if he's got some getting a fresh haircut or having a little bit more hair at least.
I
And
don't,
so I think that's the thing that could be part of it. It gives you a lot of confidence.
I don't know. Maybe that made the girl say something because I was nervous because I had to go to the store after and buy something, and I was coming back. I was sweating, and I was like, "Oh my god, please don't let this start dripping down on my face." I look like fucking Rudy Giuliani did with that fucking dye that was dripping all over the place.
Yeah, that's really bad.
That would be bad. You know, they made fun of. I don't know. You don't watch Sunny. They made fun of that on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where it was Frank Reynolds was giving people hair jobs because that's what he does with his hair. It was so hilarious, and you find out like he was using ink, and then he was using cheap ink from China or something, and then he did. Rudy Giuliani walked in, and he did his hair, and that's why it started leaking. Oh, it was hilarious.
Yeah, I think you sent me the clip on that one a while ago. That was a good one.
Yeah, but we're here to talk about Tales from the Crypt. Sorry to waste everyone's time. Just a little dive into the life of mine. Alan one day will talk about his life and put us all to sleep. So for now, we're talking about Cutting Cards, an episode that I really enjoyed when I was younger. And rewatching it, I enjoyed it, but I will get to what my feelings are on it at the end of the show. It's changed. It has changed a little bit. So while you changed for the positive because when you first saw it you disliked this episode, mine might have changed for the negative, but not. Let's not get crazy. I still enjoy this episode a lot. There's a lot of different things that I enjoy about this than the actual story. Right? It's interesting. I was looking. I was like, damn, that's nice. So why don't you just tell us what's this show episode about? Who's starring in it, and what? Let's get the down low or the low down.
Yeah, plain and simple. We got two characters here, Reno and Sam, played by Lance Henriksen, playing Reno, and I can't pronounce his last name. It was Kevin Tighe.
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 I don't know. I couldn't either.
I feel like I've seen him. I feel like I've seen him in other stuff before this, but yeah, he plays Sam, and they're like two gamblers that are like just don't like each other. It's almost the dynamic of like Bugs Bunny and like Daffy Duck. They always gotta like one up each other. And a lot of this episode is them gambling and increasing the odds as they go, just because they're too prideful to let the other one get one over on them. So that's kind of like the crutch of the episode. It's pretty straightforward, It's one of those episodes that you mentioned. I wasn't crazy about the first time I saw it, but I definitely had a change of heart after rewatching it again. So that's kind of like the gist of this episode so far. But just to say, with that said, what did you think? Rewatching it again, because you mentioned you had seen it a while ago in your childhood.
Well, I liked it as a kid a lot, so I rewatched it today.
Mm-hmm.
Sirens. So I rewatched it today, and I like everything about it. At the beginning, might as well tell you he's Reno. It's coming to. I don't know if it's Vegas. Where is this? Well, I'll just say, all in all, I like it less because of how short the episode is. I feel it's much shorter than any other episode because once I'm getting into it, it just cuts to them in the cool part where I was young. I thought that was so cool, but then it's over. I was like, damn, why did this end so quickly? So that's my biggest gripe with it. Besides that, I don't know if I wanted to. I should have waited till later at the end of the episode, but I really liked a lot about this episode. I realized when he's first talking to Sam, he basically came there to die. Reno came there to die. That was his whole plan. And I got that from the whole Russian roulette scene. Like, he was ready to die. Yeah. Like, that was his, he lost everything. He is a loser. Like what Sam says, I heard you lost everything. And it's true. He probably did lose everything. That's why he's coming in to play for $100. He's coming to his mortal enemy, and he's like, "I want to bet you $100, whatever game. I forgot what they first play." And he was like, $100 don't mean nothing to me. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, it's got to be worth something, And so what they play dice first, then they decide to play Russian roulette. But they go outside to play Russian roulette, and that's where I realized, oh, he wants to die. This was the whole plan. And then the scene.
Yeah, it seemed that way once they went through that Russian roulette part, and the last shot, he took didn't go off.
Well, also that's the part where I go, oh, I really like this. Like I rewatched it twice, a little bit at the beginning of the episode, because it's a very short episode. This episode's basically 19 minutes. It's 21 minutes altogether. That's with the bumper and the intro. It's probably 18 minutes of actual show. Okay, and then
yeah, that's a good solid 18.
18,
sure.
if that, maybe 17, because in the beginning there's music playing and Reno's walking into the casino. Or he's driving down, and then he pulls his car in, and then he's walking down the strip. Lights a cigar, goes in, and they show the machines and everything. Then he finds the bartender, who's the doctor from the last episode, The Switch. He's the bartender in this one. He was also the bartender in the first episode, Vic, right? So then he goes back there, and they say, I heard you, they said he's the best, he goes, he ain't the best, right? They said that Sam was the best player or whatever. Be careful, he's a shark, And he's like, nah, he ain't the best. I'm the best. And then he goes, oh, he must be Reno or whatever. So yeah, I know these two guys. So then, but then when they go and they talk, when they go to the back to the parking lot, I rewatched it again. I was noticing a lot of things. The lighting, I was like, wow. it's maybe it's a little absurd for other people, but I was like, who lit this? Because it's perfect. I know they picked the set and everything, but they have to pick everything, and they set the right time to shoot, right? How everything hits the reflection off the neon sign on the floor and on the cars, how it just looks like I've been stuck watching Freddy's Nightmares, where everything is a gel, putting a gel screen on top of a light and making the room red or purple. That's their idea. What I do on my little show when I record is you see a red light and a blue light. That's what they do, but for the whole room, right? In this, you actually have the lighting from the neon signs, the reflection off the car. It hits the floor. Like there's a shot where they're going back and forth between Reno and Sam, and the lighting's hitting Sam's face perfectly with the purple. And then you see on the other side Sam, and it's also hitting the floor. Like it was just, I was like, wow. And then I rewatched it and watched the intro, and the way that the cameraman or the director of photography was focusing just everything was very beautiful. This guy, I looked him up. His name is John R. I don't know how to say his last name. Leonetti?
Leonetti, right?
Yeah. No, he's a director of photography. John R. Leonetti. And I was impressed. And then I looked him up. And as a director, he's directed a few things, including, I believe, Annabelle. He directed Annabelle, which I have never seen. I know those movies are very popular. But as a cinematographer, he's done, let me see. He worked on The Mask. He worked on Death Sentence with Kevin Bacon, Insidious, The Conjuring, Joe Dirt, Mortal Kombat, Dead Silence, Spy Hard.
Some classics.
No, but I mean, The Mask is and well, some of them are crap, but Mortal Kombat is pretty good. Joe Dirt, the Scorpion King.
Well, one of the few things you can give credit to some of those movies for sure. Yeah, I do recall. I mean, The Mask is one of my favorite films of Jim Carrey's, at least. So I do. Now that you mention it, I mean, I do see the resemblance of how he uses light in his movies, because even in The Mask there were scenes like that at night. Even
at night, he's so good.
It looked pretty good. Yeah. Yeah. Good color, and it wasn't like just a grayed out look or just too dark to see anything. It was really great lighting. So that is like one of the things I did notice rewatching it again, and that one is kind of what bumped up my feelings about the episode and the ratings for sure, because I saw this one a while ago. That's when I was binging a lot of the episodes you were recommending me, and a lot of season 2. Mm-hmm. I would say, I think a lot of what this episode has going for it is it's the performances, and then just the way that the direction is of the episode, and just the framing of the lighting. It's just like, very nerdy shit. I mean, most people might not even think about it, but I mean, you see this compared to other stuff now. I mean, some of this looks better than what gets put out now. Like, I guess regarding like cinematography and lighting. So that's like small things like that. Goes a long way. This looks great compared to that one episode we reviewed. I think it was like the last episode of season 1, where it looked like the most cheapest
generic,
out of the season, and just it almost
bland,
resembling how like Freddy's Nightmare looks. All those episodes you watch, it kind of look like that too.
No money put.
So that goes a long way.
The lighting could make
immersive.
The lighting and everything like that could make look. There was another episode of Freddy's Nightmares that was really good. I was like, oh my god, this director. I looked him up, and he's done a lot of things since, and I'm like, no wonder, right? You could have no budget, and the movie could still look good. Like, our episode could look good comparatively to somebody else. Like, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but like you just said, that episode, season 1, episode 6, pretty dog crap. Like, just bland. Like, they just filmed whatever was there. Nobody took the time to do anything interesting, honestly. And in this one, there's something always capturing your eye in the episode, even if he's sitting there by himself at his ring. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you'll look at his ring, be like, why does he have a pinky ring? Like, maybe that's the actor wanted that, or, it's just, I don't know. It's a really interesting episode when it comes to the technical aspects, and also the story is just two guys that hate each other. They're bitter rivals. They can't stand each other, and they just want things that one of them is like, they just want like revenge on each other, or they want to kill the other, they want to hurt the other one. They want to see the other one in suffering. That's what they want. They want to gamble. Yeah. They want to say, I'm the best gambler. I'm the best one. And that's their whole competition, is being the better gambler. And they're willing to do anything to do that. I mean, prior to this, when I was a kid, this is the first time I knew about Russian roulette, or saw it, anything like that. And then later, I don't know who I was talking about, because this had to be brought up. But I was talking to somebody about this episode, about how, like the two guys, and and then they go, you ever see Deer Hunter? And I was like, no. And then they go, you got to see that. And I was like, why? They go, just see it, just see it. I remember a guy that was so bored for the most part. And then all of a sudden, when Walken and De Niro are doing fucking the Russian roulette, I was like, what the hell? And I was intense and like anxious. Like, oh my God. This one, you don't get that anxious feeling because it's Tales from the Crypt, and they're talking shit in between. There's a
lot of shit talking.
Yeah, in Deer Hunter, it's like it's a crowd, and then all the Vietnamese don't care about these two people, these Americans that they captured, right? Because they're cheering them on. They want one of them to die. This one, you're like, oh my God, what? Like, who's gonna win? Now, mind you, when the guy pulls up and says, hey, where are you gonna park my car? Sam, I think when the guy pulled up, Sam released the hammer of the gun. And then the guy pulled up and said that, and then Reno goes up to him and goes, get the fuck out of here, or whatever. Then Sam goes and he comes and he pulls back the hammer. So the bullet could have been there for him, right there. I think Sam was going to die.
It pretty much was.
Yeah.
It's just because he was left to his last shot.
Yeah, because
once Sam avoided that bullet.
Because when he comes and he aims the gun at the guy, you hear him pull the hammer, even though you don't see him pull it because he didn't. But you hear the hammer getting pulled back, and he aims to get the fuck out of here, and the guy drives off. And then later, when Reno's like, that's it, Reno's gonna die, Sam's laughing, like, I won, I beat you. He goes to shoot himself, and nothing happens. And he's like, You did this on purpose. You knew that the bullets were blanks, and it's like, why would he do it on purpose? That didn't make any sense, So like, why would he? That doesn't. It's like, oh, maybe it got damaged. The bullets are old. Maybe it got damaged. I'm like, no.
They got wet or something.
Yeah, it was when the guy came. I mean, that's dangerous for him too. So I don't think he did it intentionally, because he pulled the hammer, he put it to his head. The guy pulls up, he releases the hammer, right? Then Reno talks shit to the guy, so he pulls the hammer back, get the fuck out of here to show him he's meaning business. Because Reno's the one that fucking put the bullet there, so he saw the bullet. So that bullet was for him, and he was going to die. When he went to kill himself, and he's like, I beat the odds. And he starts laughing, whatever. Then they go, okay, what are we going to do? Chop poker. When the next game is chop poker. Now, This is interesting because I like Texas Hold'em, but I didn't know how to play it when I was a kid. This fucking game, this is like the sound effects that Sam makes are hilarious, and I'm trying to look at this guy because I've seen him in so many things. Kevin Tighe.
Yeah, he looks like a guy that's been around during that time.
I've seen him in.
I mean, they were both great. They're both great.
I've seen
great
him in
acting.
so many things. I'm like mostly TV stuff, but I'm looking and I'm like, I could have sworn he was in Quantum Leap, but I don't see him in Quantum Leap. TV series and appearances, so he's not on Quantum Leap. I don't know. I did not see him on Voyager because I don't remember him from Voyager. He says he was in Star Trek Voyager. Hold on.
Mhm.
Oh, so let's see. Law and Order: Criminal Intent, Law and Order SVU, Lost. I don't remember him on. Well, I fast forward through a lot of Lost. So I like nothing. Like Lost was like an A and B story, and the B story was always what they were like prior to the island, right? What their life was like prior. Like I give a shit. So like I never gave a shit. So I didn't care. I forward. I have to rewatch that whole series to be honest because I didn't know. I just didn't give a shit. I got to a point like the first two seasons, I dealt with it. Right. I think by season 3 or 4, I was just fucking tired of it. I'm like, no way, no more, none of this. Like, I'm done.
Yeah, that was one of the shows I never got around to watching. I just heard a lot of hype around it when it was out. I was watching 24 at the time. That was one of my rotating shows I had during that time. Whatever season it might have been on when Lost premiered. Probably like very beginning. But yeah, we already know at this point because like we've seen enough of, begrudgingly seen enough of like J.J. Abrams' work. He's just so overrated.
Is he the bad guy in Roadhouse? Is that where he's from? Let me see. Hold on, I gotta.
I think it was somebody else.
Wesley Summons Dalton. Of Dalton's.
Oh, I forgot to mention this is another Walter Hill directed episode.
Yes. Well, he's very.
I think a bit better. This one's better than the first episode of the season.
Oh yeah.
First season.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know he's done other episodes too beyond this. I think another one called Deadline about that alcoholic reporter.
Yeah.
That was one of them, I think. And then I'm not sure. He might have done more. I have to look.
Let me see. I'm trying to.
But yeah, I think that's all. I mean, that's what it all was for me. Is just it was pretty straightforward episode, but the performances and the direction elevated it a lot more than it should have. If it was, played by different actors, I would say. It was just a good match.
No, he's not the bad guy. He's the one that owns the club at that Patrick Swayze. Club? Yes, he's the one that has the club. He calls Patrick Swayze to come. James Dalton. That might
be then what I'm getting reminded of. Because I did watch Roadhouse a couple months ago.
But he's like
Roadhouse movie's pretty good.
Yeah.
They're remaking it apparently.
Of course.
Another one.
They can't remake garbage and try to make it better. Let's take a name because that's all we have. The Hollywood deserves to fail. I'm sorry.
At this point, they do.
Sorry,
I mean, we've given them chances.
I don't want the actors to suffer or the people that work on the sets or anything like that. I'm just saying, like the way the studio heads are running things, these are people that don't have any creative bone in their body, and they do things like remaking things just instead of taking a chance on talented writers and directors out there and new talent. There's a lot of talented people out there that are just waiting to be discovered, and they're not because they're not marketable or they're not even willing to take a chance. Like, so
they just need certain people to meet criteria.
What needs to happen is I feel bad because it's the people that are going to suffer now. Really, is going to be the actors and the writers together, and everybody in Hollywood. But the studio has to suffer, and they've already been suffering. So this is kind of like at a good time for this strike to happen because Disney and Warner Brothers, those are the big two that are really suffering bad. And supposedly Paramount also, surprisingly, even though Paramount does pretty well. I like Paramount. I don't like Universal at all. I liked what they used to do, you know. But Universal,
It's definitely good. It's definitely good timing because I mean, there's not anything, you know, really much to look forward to, even regardless of they stop production.
This is
I mean,
good
all
to.
it is we're getting is a bunch of sequels or.
This is good to weed out the people that got their jobs because of what's the word, like nepotism. Because there were somebody's that went to a good school, and there's somebody's producers. Oh, my son is this Max Landis, but Max Landis is talented creatively. I will say some of his ideas are great, but he needs to be confined. like they need to take his good ideas because he has really good ideas. That's John Landis' son, and like confine him.
Has he done anything?
No,
recently?
I mean he had a TV
like
show.
He's fallen off the radar.
He had a TV show with Elijah Wood. He did that movie with Michael B. Jordan. What was that called? The first one about the superheroes. Then he did another one with Chronicle. Then he did the other movie, American Ultra, with that kid. What's that kid's name? Lex Luthor.
Yeah. Jesse Eisenberg.
Yes, and then
Oh, okay. He co-wrote that one. I forgot. And then he also did that one Will Smith movie, right?
Yes, the Netflix one, Blight or Bright.
I never saw it.
It's not terrible. It's just too long. It's another problem Netflix has. They're the really ones that, to my memory, I don't know. I feel like Netflix was the one that now it's on streaming. They let things go way too long, and all their movies were always too long. And I was like, Jesus! Now it's happened everywhere, where movies are over 2 hours. Yeah, it's supposed to be 120 or 90 minutes. That's what it's supposed to be. So
they're even making kids films like 2 hours now at this point. It used to be about an hour and a half, an hour 20 maybe when we were growing up. But it's just everything's too long now. I don't know why.
Yeah. And then,
you'd think they would make it shorter just so they can maximize their profits, right?
Yeah. And then he did a comic book. But they don't. They don't think like that anymore. You know, the idea would be you have two movies out in a theater, or let's say the company, right? Let's say they had Insidious and Mission Impossible, which, I mean, okay. You go, well, we want to keep people in the theater that day. Because there are some people out there, or there used to be back in the day, that they go to the movies and they go, oh, I'm going to stay in the movies all day. Back in the day, it used to be like that.
Back then, it was cheaper.
And yeah, it was cheaper back then, but in the same sense, but then again, I don't know. I used to go see, sometimes I would go to the movies and I'd watch 2 or 3, like 2, not 3. You know. And actually, I can't say necessarily it started with Netflix, because there were other directors that did the insanely long films, like Tarantino with Inglourious Basterds, or even before him, which was Robert Rodriguez with fucking Once Upon a Time in Mexico. I don't know how long it is.
There's exceptions to some that can do it. I just think, it's just we're seeing it too often that almost everything has got to be at least 2 hours tops.
Yeah.
Superhero movies, at least, they dropped that number down.
I'm tired of all this. But anyway, screw it all. Let's get back to this episode. So they play chop poker, and we start seeing like Sam's losing, and he's got like 3 fingers down. But every time they cut, his fucking facial expressions are the best.
Yeah, he's taking a massive shit.
That's why I swear this guy looks so familiar. Like I've seen him in more things than he. Like it says he's in a lot of things, but I'm like, nah, he's got to be in more. Like I swear I felt like I saw him in Quantum Leap. Nope. Like that's why my go-to for everything. It's like, yeah, I saw him in Quantum Leap. No. But like it says like ER, Everwood, you know, Family Law, Law and Order. I probably seen him in Law and Order. He was probably some pervert. I think he was like some uncle or whatever. But anyway, they cut to Reno losing a hand, and then a finger, his index finger, I believe it was. And he goes, oh shit, Jesus! And then it just cuts to them in the hospital, and they have no arms.
They got no arms, so
and no legs.
They
have legs.
Extreme game of one up each other just got even more extreme.
Oh my God, they would have been like, "Next is your head." I don't know. But as a kid, I loved this. I thought this was great. I was like, oh my God. And then they're still arguing while they're playing checkers. And he goes, you idiot. You just gave me a triple jump.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of this episode is just kind of inspired out of something you'd see on an episode of Looney Tunes in a way. Just kind of an outlandish premise of these two guys trying to one up each other, and yeah, getting down to like no legs, no arms, and then playing checkers with their nose.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that was. I was like, how are they playing that as a kid? Like, what the hell? But like, honestly, at the end, as a kid, that was awesome. Now, as an adult, watching it again, going, what the fuck? What? Why'd they cut? Like, it's been 19 minutes. Or like, this is. It's so fast. The episode goes by so fast, but you get the gist of it. They hate each other. I would have wished you would have showed, but I guess how much more are you gonna see? You know, we saw them losing fingers. We know how much they hate each other. Then we just cut to they lost their legs, their arms. If they could, they would kill each other. But they have to do
Given
it.
the runtime of the show, yeah. I mean, that's kind of just summarizes it. That's kind of what they would end up doing.
Yeah. That's why it's a good episode. I think we managed to make it this episode longer than it should be, because we should just be like coming in and go, it's a good episode. I would have given this probably 4 out of 5. If I was a kid, 5 out of 5. But now as an adult, looking at it and going, it's too short. This really ruined it. That's kind of took us points away. But then I was noticing all the other things that I was like, damn, like, why do I like this so much? And then watching it again and going, for a second time, I'm going, the lighting is so perfect. Picking the spots to film at that time with the neon from across the street, right? So it deserves extra points, you know? Hitting the way it hit his face and behind him in the car, and everything was inside the lighting when they're finally going at each other, and some guys dealing the cards there for them. Oh, so I think I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. That's what I would at 3.5, which is not bad. I like that. A 3.5 is good. That's a good rating. A 3 out of 5 is good. But 3.5 is a little bit higher. Maybe a 4. I'd give it a 4. It's just, no, a 3.5 is fair. It was too short. It was way too short, or it felt too short. It was just, maybe that's just how good it was. Slayton Hendricks is good. This guy's good. They're just two actors together. There's nothing else going on. The scenery changes. Episode. Yeah, the scenery changes 3 times only, or 4. Right? We get inside one room. Right. That room changes later, or at least the setting of the room changes to make it look different at the end. Then the parking lot, and then the fucking hospital. So it's like 4 different locations, and that's it. I'd give it 3.5 out of 5 stars. I still like it. I really enjoy it. I feel like that may be a little too low, because I
think it's fair.
I think it's fair.
I'm leaning towards that same score as well. I was thinking about it and trying to add up. And,
you know what? I'm going to say 4. I'm going to say 4 because I think I gave Only Sin Deep a 3.5, and I like this more than Only Sin Deep. So I'm going to give it 4. I'm going to go back to 4 out of 5 because I do like this.
I think I gave it a 3 out of 5 for that.
Yeah, or 2. Originally, you gave it a 2. I think you went up a little bit later, but
that's a little bit more. Yeah, more less harsh on it than I was initially. Now that I got I guess it came down to expectation, or where I was thinking it was going to go. But now that I knew where it went, I looked at the positives. So this is kind of the same for me. Same thought process with this episode. I wasn't a huge fan of it originally, so I would give it a 3.5 for this one. I think it's a solid one, just to knock down a couple things of just the episode was, felt short, but I think that's also, in turn because of just how good it was watching the two actors go bounce off each other and just seeing what they would do next.
Mind you,
overall, pretty straightforward episode.
On top of that last scene that was such a big deal at the time, they reused it several times in Tales from the Crypt. I believe in Bordello of Blood, there's a scene of a similar thing between the Crypt Keeper and the Mummy, and then which is played by Will Sadler, and then Will Sadler plays it again. I read somewhere he did the same scene again.
Well, yeah, it just goes to show. Yeah, I think there were some legitimate good parts to the episode, even if the story may not be one of the better ones that the series has offered. But this is one example where it's just the performances of the actors elevate the material. So that's kudos to them for making it work for what the story was. Pretty simple one, but it was done well.
The chop poker scene was remade twice on the show. In season 6, the assassin between the Crypt Keeper and Death, William Sadler, reprising his role from Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. And in Bordello of Blood, the Crypt Keeper and a mummy, which is also played by Will Sadler. So Will Sadler did it twice. Right. They redo that scene. Makes me wonder if they wanted Will Sadler to play Tighe's part, but he wasn't available or what.
Yeah, it makes you wonder. But big ups to both gentlemen on this episode. That's really what it kind of made it. If it was anybody else of lesser acting quality, I think this episode may not have been as well received. By us, at least.
I'm looking at a picture of them when they're playing cards. Oh yeah, they were doctors there they were doctors there to tape their arms, their hands, right? Because they're chopping the body parts out. And then he says, "I'll have the doc put," because he doesn't want to have his finger cut. He goes, "I'll give you back a finger." I'll let the doc sew a finger back on you. And he's like, "No, I don't care. I'm taking your finger, motherfucker." Yeah, so they were doctors in the corners. Because I don't remember seeing them, but then I remember, like, yeah, because how else are they going to have the wrapped up on their hands? But yeah, I like this episode. The only reason I'm going up from a 3.5 to a 4 is because I remember I gave Only Sin Deep a 3.5, and although I do like Only Sin Deep, I like this one more, even though it's short. But the problem is, like, I feel like I probably would have given this 5 or 4.5 if I off memory if I didn't rewatch it. So I think it's fair. 4, 3.5. Look, whatever. It's a good episode. It's just really short. That's the bottom line. It's just super short, but it's really good. The directing too. You have to give it to Walter Hill. That's this episode, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed the podcast, even though this might have been too long for you guys. We tried to make it longer because we had nothing to talk about with the actual episode so short. So we tried to make this long. I hope you enjoyed it. You can give us a rating on any podcasting service that you use to listen to us. So we're everywhere. I'm trying to get on Stitcher. And check out ghostcrusadersmerch.com. We have some cool shirts there. There's a shirt there of Charlie Marno for you guys. Anyway.
Oh, you got that up there?
Yeah, I got that up there. No, I don't, but, I will by the time this episode's up, because this episode will be up September 4th, so it'll be up by then. Yeah. Anyway, let us know, or if you can, let us know. If you go on YouTube, you can let us know what you thought about this episode in the comment section. We'll talk to you guys next time when we do, what's the next episode? Till Death, right?
Till Death, yep.
All right, so we'll talk to you then.
Good night. See you later.
Peace.